I think a 200 to 300% increase on my energy bill is terribly frightening.
On all of our properties, we've noticed a dramatic increase in our electric bill. It's been just enough to be able to deal with it as it's went up, let alone another 100 to 200% increase. It's too much.
We just make ends meet now, as all school districts do. There's not a bucket of money out there that we can dip into. Everybody would have to take a little cut out of their budget to make up to pay the electric bill.
If my electricity bill doubled or tripled, my options would be find a much cheaper apartment, which, I'd be losing out on maybe security or cleanliness. Maybe I have to move home. I can't afford a much higher electricity bill.
We would have a hard time probably keeping a couple of our stores open just because supermarkets operate on such a thin margin.
If my electricity doubled or tripled, whether it was as much as it is now, I'd have to shut it all off and do something else. If you had a job that might not affect you so much, when you're on Social Security, you're limited. You'd have to cut down on everything you do. Even groceries, eat more cereal or soup.
I promise you we will have to increase our ticket prices just to offset that increase.
Our family probably couldn't go like mini golfing or anything, or you would have to pay or we couldn't go out to eat.
Energy is such a big part of the cost of doing business for us on an everyday kind of basis. If prices were to go up 100%, 200%, or even more, we have to find that money either through decreased expenses somewhere in our operation or increased prices. And both are dramatic at that level and risk our day-to-day operation.
That would be the difference in my wife being able to stay home with the kids, either her going back to work or myself finding a second job. My biggest fear for my kids would be that, say our bill does go up 200, 300%. That money I would put back for them now is paying an electric bill just to keep the lights on.
If this happens and the prices go up, our donations will decrease and it will be very difficult. I see that some food pantries, some nonprofit organizations will probably be put out of business because they will not be able to meet their expenses.
We understand costs are going to go up, finding new energy sources, but it's a hardship for the communities.
I think if certain legislation passes, it's going to have a tremendous negative impact on this tourist-based economy in Branson, Missouri. Being, the third largest tax generator, we have a huge impact on the state of Missouri. When people can afford to come here and visit, it affects the entire state.
The visitors to Branson are made up of really the cross-section of America. If their costs were to go up for what it's cost them for electricity at home, it's going to take money out of their pocket. They're not going to be able to come to Branson or other vacation destinations, and this really is a national situation.
This is a seasonal town, and a lot of the businesses close down in the winter, so a large percentage of the population is either on Social Security or unemployment, which is either way a fixed income.
44% of our student population qualify and receive free or reduced lunch. If those children are already having trouble just paying their lunch tab at school, I would guess that an increase in their electric bills would affect their household budget as well.
The population that we serve, they tend to be the lowest economic level in the community. And unfortunately, anytime that there's a crisis that involves the economy, that's the level of our society that gets hurt the most. Electricity today is not really considered a luxury, but for many people, it will become a luxury that will be out of reach.
You can make a difference.
A lot of buzzwords get thrown around with green and renewable, but the fact of the matter is that that's not done responsibly, that a lot of people's lives are going to change. I think our legislators should act responsibly and not hastily. They just can't flip that switch overnight. There's just too much at stake.
Rushing to legislation and passing things that are going to inevitably affect, our ability to operate our businesses, that's a scary approach.
We've got to strike a balance between climate change goals and affordable energy.
I would say the biggest thing for the legislators to think about or to do would be get out and visit business owners and just their constituents and get a real feel for what that kind of increase in electric bills would do.
I would just ask them to really think about these small businesses, a business like ours. We're just a small little gnat on the map here. but we have over 80 employees in our business. And what happens with those electric costs and those increases for us to operate our business will filter down to a lot of people.
I would tell my legislators to keep in mind that I'm just a college student. I, have to have electricity and I have to have it cheap. I fight every day for every paycheck and every grade. I'd be in trouble if I flipped on the light switch and didn't have any electricity.
I would love to ask each one of our legislators to please think about the repercussions from any decisions that they make. We would all love to see greener electricity. We're all in favor of a cleaner environment, but it is so important that the approaches be made in a way that does not hurt the most vulnerable level of our society.
I think it is so critical on this topic that as we look at where we need to be, we ask ourselves, what is the impact to Main Street America today? To mom and dad who are trying to make ends meet in their home, to the small business who's just trying to stay afloat on Main Street, or a larger business. But we have to look at where we want to be in the long run, but also can we afford to get there? I hope and pray that we are all asking ourselves those questions and making sure that we are not putting our economy and Main Street America at risk. Responsible energy legislation cannot be ignored.
Your decisions will impact my future.
My business's future.
My kids' future.
As electric co-op members, we are 40 million strong.
We have a voice.
We demand answers.
We need you to act.
Be educated.
Ask tough questions.
Require straight answers.
Join the conversation.
It's our energy.
It's our future.
We're all in this together.
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 Together.